Is this really what you grew up with? I feel really sorry for you.
The Gaming Lovers Podcast with Brendo and Jem. G'day and welcome to the Gaming Lovers Podcast, episode number 12, where apparently it is brought to you by a pair of old fogies. At least that's how we feel after this past week.
I'm so depressed. Kids don't understand me. I've become Principal Skinner. Surely it couldn't be me. It's the children that are out of touch, right?
It feels a little bit like that. I want to get very defensive about the way that they've analysed some of our childhood games and classic arcade games as well. We had some special guests join us so we could introduce them to games that we grew up with. And we got their
Uncensored opinion.
Yes.
They pulled no punches, let's put it that way.
They were pretty brutal. More on that very, very soon. But before we get there, we've got some gaming goals to rehash.
Would you like to know what Team Brendo has achieved this week?
Yes. What have you been up to?
Absolutely nothing.
We did say last week that we would be incredibly busy looking after lots of kids and, introducing them to games that they could then destroy, so...
Oh yes, don't get me wrong, I have played video games this week, but it has consisted of Octodad, Dadliest Catch. It's consisted of Lego Dimensions. Mm-hmm. It's consisted of plenty and plenty of Goat Simulator.
Yep.
And in the spare time that I've managed to scrimp together, I have just been popping a few achievements in my current gaming crush, Prey.
Ah, managed to sneak that in a little bit, huh?
At the wee hours of the morning, yes.
When everyone else is asleep. Well, I honestly didn't expect to achieve much myself. There has been one game that's been haunting me for weeks.
Weeks?
Months? Years?
Oh, just about.
Nearly years. With Trails of Cold Steel 2, I honestly thought it would never end. And it...
Don't tell me.
You
said thought, as in past tense. Don't tell me.
It has finally ended. Yay!
How do you feel? Is a burden lifted off your shoulders?
I part of me wants to platinum this one because I platinumed the first one, so I'm like weighing up now whether to go back through or not. To be fair, it is easier to go through that run because you just fast forward through all the conversations and just focus on the combat, but...
Oh, for sure. You get New Game Plus, you're a higher level, you can wipe the floor with pretty much everyone.
Except on Nightmare difficulty, there are some battles
yes. I forgot about that.
that are very long and arduous.
So you finally got this monkey off your back that's been nagging you saying, I love this game, I have to beat it. I have to give it my all.
I think the monkey's name is Brendo.
Well...
Going, Jem, why haven't you finished this game? Why are you playing Dragon Age again? Jem, go play Gold Steel 2, Jem.
Oh, is that my voice? You know what happens when you love a game or you love a game series? You want to share it with people. Mm-hmm. I wanted to share Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel with you.
Yes.
And I wanted you to like it.
And I did. I just lost momentum. I got distracted by things like Persona 5 and many other games that were amazing and, deserved my full attention. Poor Cold Steel just got a little neglected.
Hey,
but it's finished.
Happens.
It is done, and I am looking forward to seeing the third chapter and where everyone's going to be when they're adults. Because I believe when we revisit them in number 3, they're all grown up. So that ought to be interesting. Things to look forward to.
Well, now you have the single greatest dilemma to face any video gamer is that when you beat a game that's basically controlled your life for so long, what to do next? We will tackle that later in this podcast. Mm-hmm. But for now, what happens when you take the games that consumed your childhood or perhaps even your teenage years and you let people who are experiencing their current teenage years and give them a live microphone and ask for their opinions. And they aren't very nice.
Yes, they weren't exactly gentle with their words. They gave us their honest opinions. They played through games from the 70s right through until like the early noughties releases.
Yeah, so, I mean, we have a few years age difference between the two of us.
Yeah.
What sort of consoles did you have experience with, whether you owned them or whether you had played them at a cousin's or a friend's house or whatever? What consoles did you grow up with?
My main console was the Nintendo 64.
Mm-hmm.
I had played PlayStation and a Super Nintendo at like cousins' houses and stuff, but it was not the one that we owned. My parents couldn't really afford one until I kind of hit 9 or 10. So for me, that was the main gaming console, aside from like our computer
Yeah.
that we played.
Yeah, I'm a couple years older than you and also started gaming before you. So I have like generations. It makes me feel like I'm the old wise video game sage here compared to you. My primary first console we owned was the Sega Master System. However, my father also had an Atari 2600 Junior model, which is what it was called because I looked it up. It wasn't the fancy wood grain finish. It was just a little plastic box, basically. But that came out on special occasions. So I loved the Atari 2600. It may have just been the novelty value, however.
Possibly.
And really, it wasn't all that great compared to what I was currently experiencing.
You gotta remember though too, for video games, a lot of the time it was a special occasion kind of thing. A very, like if you had a lot of games, you were considered quite rich because they were very expensive.
Yep.
I mean that still hasn't really changed. Consoles aren't the cheapest entertainment. Video games are much more expensive than buying like a movie, but there is more time like value in the sense that you always spend way more time playing these games than you would watching a movie.
Oh, absolutely. Games these days can be hundreds of hours long, whereas
Exactly.
you would have basically just a little snippet of gameplay in comparison back then. You'd have a game that would keep you occupied for 20 minutes. It would be stretching it.
But think that there are some people like that have the full-on arcade machines in their houses, like the old Pac-Man machines or pinball machines, like the classic arcade setups that are huge and take up a lot of space. But that was almost considered like a real mark of, woo, I'm rich and I've got tears. Look at my awesome retro arcade system I have in my house. So, yeah. It's changed a lot because people can have all these games for next to nothing now, and they look so dated next to the amazing technology that we have in this day and age. So these kids, they know nothing. They know nothing.
Yeah, so a lot of these old games did get arcade releases first and then came out later on Atari or Sega Master System or NES and things like that. The arcade-style games. It's basically a genre, arcade games.
Yeah.
So getting these kids' reactions on these short, compressed little nuggets of gaming and teaching or showing these kids just what an entire game was just blows their mind. Just that little aspect of it.
Yes, there were lots of moments of, oh, really? Like light bulb, what? This is what you grew up with? So without further ado, here is the chaos of what was an afternoon of introducing these three teenage girls to retro video games, condensed into about 40 minutes or so. Enjoy.
Okay, ladies, for this segment of our podcast, we're going to be taking a trip through memory lane. My memories, not yours, and since I'm significantly older than most of you, this should be quite interesting.
You're old.
So who do we have here? Our regular host.
G'day, I'm Jem.
And who's next?
Hi, I'm Geoege.
Next up is...
FattyBin
And finally...
Jedi.
Jedi. All right, we are going to be taking a trip. You have your little sheets so you can take some notes if need be. There will be questions after each game, and for the most part, you'll be playing against each other in competitive combat. Should be interesting.
I'm going to run you into a wall. I'm going to kill you.
It's a Brooklyn Nine-Nine reference, I believe.
Okay, first impressions from a menu screen.
It looks retro. Yeah, it looks really old.
Yeah, it does actually look quite old. But it looks fun and very colourful.
Oh, it's Atari. That's
It
so
looks
annoying.
cool old.
So it's like retro good,
Wait,
in like a
is it
good
actually
way.
Atari.
Yeah, because it says Atari.
That's so annoying.
All right, so first up, Jem is going to be our reigning champion since she has some history of this, and she'll be against FattyBin.
Wait, what am I? Which one am I? Oh, that one. Sorry. Wait, which screen am I? Oh, I'm player 2. That's. Oh, I am very good at this game. Okay. Hang on. I got the. Oh no, I don't got this. Oh no. This is horrible. This is going so bad. Okay. Oh yes, I got it. Never mind.
So, Geoege, while they're playing, what do you think of the incredible graphics that we have?
It's just not even smart at all. It's just lines. Is this really what you grew up with? I feel really sorry for you.
11 to Jem, 4 to FattyBin. FattyBin, what do you think of those graphics?
Oh, I don't actually mind the graphics because I would assume that would be what they look like in normal graphics.
What about the sound design?
Bit annoying.
Yeah. If you were playing this for a long time, it would get annoying.
I don't understand.
All you have to do is move the paddle. You're playing table tennis.
It's so simple.
No, it's not.
Is this seriously what you did for fun?
You automatically just follow where it's going, but then
You gotta
it's
think
you
about
have
where
to think
it's-
about where it's gonna
Yeah.
reflect. Reflect? Huh?
How do you find the controls?
They're very quick. Like,
It's weird.
Yeah, it moves-
yeah, they move so
It's
quick.
kind of hard to control, even though there's one thing that you have to move.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be this hard, but it is.
What do you think of some of these names of these Atari games?
They look really cool.
Gravatar?
Haunted House.
Atari Video Cube. Wow.
Concentration. That sounds awesome. Oh my goodness, is there actually basic math? That is so disgusting.
It doesn't even have capital letters. Why would you do that to me?
I think we need to make Geoege play basic math.
No, thank you. I'm good.
Okay, before we get too far along, you've just finished playing Pong. Now, what year do you think Pong came out? Jedi?
1930s.
1930s. FattyBin?
Guessing.
All right, I'm going to say the 60s?
Is it more precise year or just 1960s?
1965.
Geoege?
1985.
Jem?
I would say maybe very late 70s or early 80s. So like maybe 79 or something.
Can I re-guess mine? Okay. 1972.
Gosh, that's still a long time ago. That's, what, 46 years ago, you're guessing? The correct answer of the release for Pong, 1977.
Woohoo! I was not close.
It is over 40 years old. And yes, that was the entire game. You would buy a cartridge for that.
But wouldn't you slowly go insane from just hearing that pointless noise?
Isn't that what happened to Wally?
People didn't play video games for as long necessarily as we do now. Like you have people that will sit almost all day playing certain video games, right? But a lot of this stuff was in the arcades where you would pay to play and have to share, and they only had certain hours that they were open. So it's very different to what we have now.
Whoa.
The next game you will be playing from the Atari 2600 is called Outlaw, and it was among... No, not Outlast. No, that was your experience the other day. Outlaw was probably in the top 3 games I ever played on the Atari 2600. It was mind-blowing. So get ready to enjoy it. This is also another 2-player.
This isn't about Ned Kelly or anything, is it?
Not at all.
Okay, good.
I want your first impressions.
Whoa. Is this seriously the animation that you grew up with? That is sad.
Sorry for you.
Okay, it looks like
What
a
even
chip.
is this?
It's a chip with arms and legs.
Look at this. Hear the sound though.
People.
They're not people, Georgie. They're walking chips.
Now, the annoying thing is you had switches on the actual console to actually change the game settings. You had to move the switches on the console itself.
Whoa.
Right. right.
Oh my goodness.
No, I don't like
Black
it.
and white?
Actually, I think it's better for my eyeballs.
Now, the controls shouldn't be that hard because the Atari only had a single button.
Oh, yes. I'm
do
not
you
sure if
shoot?
I'm supposed to destroy the cactus or you.
How do you shoot?
I'm pressing buttons. Oh, we both killed each other at the same time.
This is actually pretty fun.
Stop!
The point of the game is to just stand in front of each other and just shoot each other until you die.
Keep sitting on our butts.
As soon as you die, you just fall on your butt.
He said butt.
All right, so our thoughts on Outlaw.
The colors hurt my eyes. It's really fun though.
Do you like the blockiness?
To be honest, not really.
No, you like the smooth graphics.
I do. I appreciate really nice graphics.
Yeah.
What about the revolutionary sound design of the ricocheting bullet?
It's so irritating.
I don't mind the sounds. The sounds are fine.
It sounds pretty cool.
No, it's just annoying.
All right, yet again, what year do you think this game was released?
76.
Geoege?
Well, it's slightly more complex than Pong because that was just like a line and a ball. This one's actual people, even though they're really bad graphics. So I'm thinking 86.
It's 86, you say. And you, Jedi?
I reckon 83.
83. Jem, what hour? What hour did this game come out? Please tell me.
Maybe 83 or 4.
83 or 4. The release for this game was 1976.
I think the colors are really unhealthy for our eyes. It's actually hurting my brain.
That's probably why people need glasses.
That's why old people need glasses, because they grew up with these sort of graphics.
Like everyone old has glasses because of this game.
Have you ever seen Frogger in action?
No.
Well, we should probably start there then.
Frogger is very iconic. It's like one of, like, up there as one of the top.
iconic? Is it supposed to be like Crossy Road?
This is like a big, very popular in arcades.
Crossy Road is like the modern equivalent of Frogger.
What am I?
It's where you jump across the road without getting
Am I
hit.
actually using this? Is this
By
So basically it ripped off Frogger.
basically, yeah.
what's?
Oh, is that another frog
Oh,
on the logo?
sorry, I was just trying to press the buttons and find out what the controls were. Oh.
You did. All you have to do is move.
Oh, so you can't actually touch the cars, but then you can't touch the water.
It's Crossy Road.
Okay.
What is Crossy Road? I think Crossy Road is Frogger, actually, if you want to get technical.
They ripped them off.
Everything that was old is new again. Everything gets repackaged or gets basically like a new skin on it.
The sounds sound like dialing
It's
on like
so-
a really old phone.
It flickers so much. Like it's not clear.
Now, I liked Frogger. However, Freeway was my jam.
Okay, am I just going? What am I?
You're a chicken.
You're a chicken.
Oh, at the bottom of the screen.
There's two. Oh.
Can you move across? No, you can't.
Not in this one.
What is this? You can't even move across. Oh no, I tried to wing it.
You tried to wing it because you're a chicken?
Oh goodness, go faster, green car. Thank you. It is pretty fun. I just feel like it's very simple.
Yeah, this is actually, pretty fun.
The memory storage that they had on a lot of these things was very limited. The size of one photo on your smartphone is bigger than a lot of these games were in their completed forms.
Actually, a photo of your smartphone today would be probably 100 times the size of the data of this game.
One more to go. This is so intense, and the winner is me.
But you did start with one
you
extra
started
point.
with one extra point.
I like how you don't die. You kind of just get pushed back.
Yeah, I like that.
Invincible.
Like you don't have to start from the
Yeah.
beginning again.
That's the annoying thing about Crossy Road is you have to start.
You have to start
way
all
back
the way
from the
from the
start.
beginning.
All right, let's set up FattyBin and Jem with this game as well on a harder difficulty.
They came out of nowhere! You red driving maniacs!
Jax.
I did set them for a higher difficulty. Because as you saw, I can select the level at the start of these games, and they they counted these all as different games. So Freeway, for example, came with 8 games, which is basically just 8 different difficulty levels.
That's ridiculous.
8 games.
Hey, Jem, guess what? I'm winning.
The exact same game, just different levels.
Oh, wait, never mind.
Now, how much would you pay for this game?
Like, maybe $5.
How is she at 8?
Oh, I think it's because I can't remember. No, I think it's because I got skills. Yeah. Was it first to 10? Because I'm there.
So what did you think of Freeway?
I actually quite
It was
like
actually,
it.
yeah, it's pretty fun.
The noises are annoying me though. Like in this game, the noises are annoying me because
I like the noises. I don't like the car noises.
No, the
No,
car
because
driving
it's
car's
just
like.
Again, what year do you think Freeway came out?
I'm thinking 81.
So you think 1981 for Freeway? Any other guesses?
saying 78.
84.
84. What year's FattyBin?
78.
And Geoege?
81.
And Jem?
1980.
Freeway was released in 1981 for the Atari 2600. Okay, now we're going to go forward in time.
What are you up to, Dad?
Alright, so far, what's been your favourite game?
Probably Freeway.
Yeah, I like Freeway the best.
Freeway too.
Except for the noises. I just play it with the volume down.
I didn't mind the gun shooting one, except it just hurt my eyes.
I liked Frogger too.
I didn't.
I didn't play it.
What's one that you really hated?
Pong, I hated it. It's the worst game ever.
Pong.
Yeah.
So frustrating.
It's just so simple and it's just like... And the
it's too
controls are
simple.
like too sensitive.
For a game that's so simple, you'd think it'd be a lot easier to play, huh?
Yeah.
It's like so simple that it's difficult.
Yeah. It just doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, everyone else said yes, so I wanted to say it too.
What are we playing next?
Mario.
Are you sure we're
The original.
I have this game, except it's like an old, really, really old one, but it's on the Wii.
Oh my goodness. They're so...
FattyBin
I will.
and Jedi.
Yep. What are the controls?
How many of you know this music?
Me.
I think everyone knows this music. If you don't, you haven't lived.
Oh.
Or you've been living under a rock.
How do you
Well-
jump? Which one's jumping? And
Alright, hang on.
you're up, Jetta. This is now you.
Jedi.
Wait, so they don't play together?
No, they take turns.
Crush the guy first, yeah.
What do you guys think of this music?
I think it just sounds really old. Like it doesn't sound as good as the updated one, but
Compared to like stuff like Pong and the other games you've played, how does it
it's
compare to that?
very advanced compared to Pong.
It's actually got a melody.
Yes, it's not just noises. Well, it is because that's what sound is. It's just noises.
Did you see when there was too many characters on the same line, they started to blink, like flicker?
Why?
It's just a graphical limitation of the hardware.
Wow.
Yeah, they couldn't even show 5 characters on the same line.
It's just like the controllers and then A and B.
Yeah, it's like the Wii.
And how many buttons are on a controller these days?
Oh, like so many.
Like 50 billion.
It's been estimated that First Goomba may have the highest kill count of any video game enemy in history because of how many copies this game sold and the people walking straight into him because they don't know the controls.
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
Now, if you hold the B button while you walk, you will run faster.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, this
in
would
the
be
other one.
amazing compared to like Freeway and Pong. Like,
Yeah.
this would be so advanced. It would be like, oh my goodness.
Now, what year do you think this came out? Guesses? Jedi?
89.
89, okay. What year do you think this came out?
85 or 84.
I'll say 86.
And Jemmy?
84?
The correct answer is 1985, which is where all the best things came into existence, including myself. So Freeway was 81. This is only 4 years later, and you can see the differences that the technology's gone through. You guys having fun?
Yeah, it actually is. It's really interesting.
Now the age-old question, is Mario in fact picking the fireballs out of his nose when he shoots them?
Wait, do it shoot? Whoa.
massive discussion.
Oh, it was the discussion back in the schoolyards.
Do it again. Do it again. Oh my goodness.
It's like he's flicking them out.
Fun fact, a few years later, in the early 90s, there was in fact a game called Boogerman, the Pick and Flick Adventure. You can tell it's Jem playing based off the heavy-handed button presses.
I actually love Pac-Man. It's such a classic.
Yay, we're getting to classics that they love.
At school, we used to just, sneak this onto our laptops, and that was the only game we could get. So we just play Pac-Man all day during maths. Oh no! Oh my goodness! They're all following me. This is so terrifying. It is actually the most terrifying thing to have them all following you, and you're so scared they're gonna just gang up. Oh my goodness! He's coming. He is coming to eat me. Oh my goodness! How?
Oh, Geoege. Good old Namco. They're still making games, aren't they? Yeah. Yep. What's something recent that they've done? When your game is like us, you start recognizing the studios and that make the games that you love. So when they release a new game, you get excited because you know that they're going to be good for the most part.
Yeah.
Kind of like if you have a favorite movie director. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Soul Calibur.
Oh, there we go.
All right, next up we're going to be working together instead of against each other.
In 19... What is that?
XX.
I'm like, is that... Oh, people called them the Double Dragons. We don't know why. And yet, the dragons had one terrible enemy. To fight against him was the destiny and fate of the Double Dragons. One day, shadow warriors attacked the city, and Billy's girlfriend, Marianne, was killed. Oh my gosh!
Billy! He looks so happy. Oh, no, that's a
Wow,
bad guy.
is
That's a
Seriously,
bad
the
guy. The Double Dragons swore to avenge her death. Let's go, Double Dragons! Mission 1, Into the Turf.
That is the story cutscenes that you would get.
Story intro. That's just sad.
Oh, wait, am I playing this?
Who am
Oh,
I?
I have it upside down. That's why it's not working.
I don't know who I am.
It's like a little Mickey hand.
Mickey Mouse is telling you where to go. Wait, guys!
Oh, watch out, there's one behind
I
you.
got it. I died.
I got it. Do you prefer to work together or play against each other in these sort of games?
Work together.
I don't mind.
I don't
as
even
long
know
as I know who I am. Yeah.
What year do you think this one came out in?
I'm going to say 70s. Okay, 80s. I don't know my generations.
Any other guesses for the year? For Double Dragon 2?
7.
Jem, you're good with these. What do you got?
I wonder, did this come out on my birthday, 88?
The answer is 1988.
Close.
Oh, he dissolved.
Oh.
He's back. He's back.
Die!
He looks like one of the guys from Tangled.
One of the bad dudes.
Yeah. The one from the
ruffians.
snuggly duckling.
Oh, did we beat him? Was that victory music? Yeah. They're skipping in that chopper. He'll never make it.
Mission 2 at the heliport. How
do you jump?
Whoa, how'd you do that?
I don't know.
That was pretty. He like lunged.
Oh, am I alone?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
no.
died.
Wait, did you die fully?
Yeah.
Oh,
I had
Jedi.
0 lives. No, I think you gotta get on.
I had 6 stream. Not allowed on the roof. Get off the roof.
Okay, now you may have noticed that the difficulty of these games considerably higher than games of the current generation. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
All right, let's jump forward another generation, shall we?
You're listening to the Gaming Lovers Podcast. Want to join the conversation? Visit thegaminglovers.com. Record your comment or question by clicking on the button on the right-hand side. And you could be featured in the next podcast.
So who likes Mario Kart?
Whoa.
Is this the Mario Kart that you remember?
Oh my goodness, no.
This is the original, guys.
This is the first ever Mario Kart game.
Look at his tongue.
First ever Mario Kart.
Whoa, it's a naked Yoshi.
That's actually a Koopa Trooper. They were the turtles you were talking about before.
Goodness.
Yellow though.
This is actually painful to watch.
Okay, player 1. Who's up first?
I'm Yoshi.
Oh. I was like, oh, I want to be the
Who are you picking?
The naked turtle. How do I?
Donkey Kong looks so. Is he wearing bathers?
Donkey Kong looks like a little tiny baby orangutan.
Is he wearing bathers?
He looks like one of those like
Donkey Kong? Oh, we actually skipped Donkey Kong in our history lesson, but that is actually technically Donkey Kong Jr. on this screen, who would grow up to be the Donkey Kong that you know and love in current Donkey Kong games.
Why was he junior? Why is he not junior now?
Because he grew into the name. On the graphics update.
Oh. It's what? It looks like really bad Minecraft.
Do I have to press anything to actually go?
Why have they made it? Oh,
Where's my
it looks like
acceleration?
static.
Oh.
Yeah, it looks like static.
Why have they made it look like static?
What?
That is hurting my eyes.
Now you'll notice that all the graphics on this are made of flat images. The ground is a flat image.
3D. Nothing is 3D. It's all just completely flat.
You can see the same angle of the character,
Yeah.
no matter where you are.
3D gaming had not yet arrived. There was no polygons at all. Everything was a flat image.
All the little question boxes are just flat on the floor. Even the bananas. This is painful.
I prefer playing these games with a joystick. I hate trying to steer with a D-pad. It sucks.
Oh, Jedi's taken the lead.
I did?
Yes,
Go Jedi.
And Jem has been overlapped.
No!
My eyes are still like.
Can we play 64? Because, like, I'll own you all.
It's hurting my eyes so much.
I'm gonna get a headache.
It's making me dizzy.
Close my
No wonder you guys didn't play it for very long though. Like,
No,
you
this
wouldn't be
looked
able
different
to.
on our old TVs. It wasn't as high resolution, so it actually didn't hurt our eyes back then. Whereas
Everything's
putting things on that have bad graphics on a crisp TV shows the flaws in it more. So if we got our old CRT TV out of the other room and we hooked it up to that, this wouldn't look as bad.
Now, what do you think of the controllers? They're starting to evolve too. From just your 2 buttons. Now we got 4 on the front, 2 in the middle, 2 on the top.
Welcome, this is Dinosaur Land. In this strange land, we find that Princess Toadstool is missing again. Looks like Bowser is at it again.
Who's Princess Toadstool?
I thought it was Princess Peach.
Princess who?
Peach.
The other one?
Toadstool.
Toadstool. There's an
Oh.
L.
Hello, sorry I'm not home, but I have gone to rescue my friends who were captured by Bowser. Signed, Waffle.
And can someone please hold the run button when you play this? You all walk so slow. It's agonizing for someone like me.
Speed run, woo!
Well, that didn't go according to plan. You'll notice that some of the Koopas are without their shell and they're in their underpants.
Why?
They're naked.
It's up to them. It might be hot.
Why don't Luigi and Mario play together?
And jump.
So you would take it in turns with your friend back in the day. So compared to the last Mario game that we played this style, what do you think of the graphics? Improved?
They're better.
There are a choice of a different level as well. You don't have to keep going to this one.
Oh, I thought it was like you had to like.
These games now have a map that you can choose which levels you do.
Wow, advanced.
Look at the technology. It's amazing.
Who's that? Hooray! Thank you for rescuing me. My name is Yoshi. On my way to rescue my friends, Bowser trapped me in that egg.
The eggs that Yoshi shoots, is he shooting other trapped Yoshis and killing them? So many questions.
Now, what did you notice the music when you hopped on Yoshi? It changed slightly.
It's gone a bit faster.
Did you like that one more or less than the other Mario game?
I liked the other one better.
No,
Really?
I like this one.
Yeah. I don't know why.
A retro lover.
I reckon this one's better because you can do more.
The Atari launched at about $200 US, which isn't a lot.
That's not that much.
But money decreases in value as time goes on. So $200 now seems like nothing. $200 then is about $800 US here, which is about, close to $1,000 of our money in Australia in current day. I've taken you through a couple different genres. You've had car racing, you've had platforming, which is what the Mario games are. You've had a side-scrolling beat-em-up with Double Dragon, and of course, what trip through the Super Nintendo library would be complete without. Do you know Zangief at the start of Wreck-It Ralph? Slapping he wants to crush.
Would crush man's skull like Sparrow's egg between thighs.
Exactly. Welcome to Zangief's origin. You can see this came out in all 91, 92, and 93 because it was different editions that came out. We are playing Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting. Who would like to step up first to the plate?
To crush man's skull like Sparrow's egg between thighs.
Excellent. Well, you can try and crush Geoege. Make sure you choose the character that suits you best.
I have Zangief.
I'm gonna be Zangief as well.
Zangief on Zangief.
He looks like he's wearing high heels.
It does a little bit. Big giant Russian man in his underpants and high heels.
Yeah.
Geoege dominated.
Oh, I love his
Can you explain the secret to your strategy?
I just punch them in the face. I kick them. Just picturing them like someone I hate.
Alright, what character are you going to pick, Jedi?
I'm gonna pick Ken.
And why is that? Is it his luscious blonde hair that attracted you to him?
Nah.
He's a handsome boy, isn't he?
Because he reminds me of Barbie and Ken.
Oh, we've got Ryu versus Ken. Oh, someone threw out a Hadouken. And now we'll get a close-up at Jem's fighting style. See if you can pick it up. Ken on Ryu. Oh! It's down to the wire. I cannot even see your health. Fight! See, we've actually got voice clips. We're starting to progress in the technology. Our final round. Winner takes all. It's going to be Geoege versus Jem. Chun-Li has been selected. Jem's sticking to her guns with Ryu.
I like how these ones look more 3D.
But they are still just 2D, but they look 3D.
They look better.
Yeah.
Like they've got shadows and highlights.
Yeah. Looks more realistic. Sort of.
Come back from the Vegas! Oh! Chun-Li! With a pixel of health. Congratulations, Geoege. You are the undisputed Street Fighter champion. How do you feel?
Thank you. I feel very good. You know, that was very close last round. I thought I was a goner, but, you know, it came back strong and defeated Jem. Feeling pretty good.
Would you like to play against me?
I don't know. I'm probably going to lose, but we can give it a go.
All right.
The ultimate showdown. Geoege versus Brendo. Geoege is sticking with her victorious Chun-Li. Brendo is playing as Guile.
What do you think of his hair?
I love it. I think it's so creative.
Like, cheese.
It looks like a broom or a mop that someone's just splattered on the floor, glued it like that, and then spun it up the other way.
No, it looks like what's called Play-Doh, and you put it in that thing, you push it down, and all the little bits come up.
Guile is down to like a line of health, and he's out. He's gone. Chun-Li is victorious. Geoege is the winner.
I'm ashamed, my family.
I've only been playing this for
Your
about
face was so
5
concentrated,
minutes.
though.
Dishonor on you.
Dishonor on your cow. I like this game.
Oh, so we found one that you really like?
Yeah, I do. I do like this game.
Might have to introduce you to some more modern fighting games. We can introduce you to esports and you can win us lots of money. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll do that.
Did you know if you do really well in esports, you could win millions of dollars?
Cool. I'd love to be a millionaire. Let's do that.
Just remember who trained you.
If you know Brendo, what's the one game you would expect me to make you play?
Wrestling.
Scary games. Banjo-Kazooie.
Crash Bandicoot.
Sonic?
Sonic.
Oh, yay. Normal controllers.
Alright, push A to start. Choose your level.
Yeah, this is Sonic.
And what do we think of the graphics?
I think it's horrible.
Yeah, you wanted to play at the same time when you were playing Mario.
Whoa, what am I even doing?
I don't even understand what I'm doing.
Why are we we're at a casino.
Why are we at a casino? Where am I meant to be? Oh, I'm meant to be going up there. Okay.
How does the speed feel compared to Mario?
I like it. You go really fast.
Yeah.
You go so fast. You're literally like just flying through the air and bouncing off stuff.
All right, Jem, you're up. Let's see how well she does.
Oh my.
Do you like the music?
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Does it sound like you would be at a casino?
Yeah, it's very funky.
Get out of the way. Oh, I can't rebound properly off this thing. I'm not a Sonic girl. I'm a Mario girl. I hate this game.
What? What did you just say?
Oh my goodness. Just let me get past this stupid section. This is insane.
How are your tails?
I'm keep going in loops.
What? This game is so confusing.
Yep.
Is that because it's not just a straight left to right like Mario was?
Down, up, sideways.
That's why I didn't enjoy playing this.
There's
as a
so
kid.
much to look at.
Oh my gosh. There's just so much going on. My brain can't even comprehend it.
I love how Sonic gives like an annoyed look when he's going up the elevator, like, oh.
Like he has to slow down. He doesn't like
I'm so
normal
confused
pace.
as to where you went, Jem.
Oh, I found another checkpoint. Eh, suck it. I may have got stuck in one area, but I recovered.
What do you think of Sonic?
Poor FattyBin.
Nobody likes Sonic. This was at his peak of success too.
I don't know.
I really
The
don't
only
understand the point of Sonic.
The only thing I liked about it was the sound that
I don't
Sonic
really like
made.
anything about Sonic. No offense.
The only thing I don't really like about it is that you can go so many different paths.
Yeah. It's
So there's not like a
straight-
set path. Like I
too
hate
much variety.
I hate those choose your own adventure books because I want to know everything that happens. I want to know exactly what is actually going to happen. And in that, you can go so many different areas. I don't like that.
Well, as a general rule in Sonic level design, if you can stay up at the top of the level, it will be a faster route, but that requires more skill to land more precise jumps. If you fall down to like a lower area, it'll be more complex and take you longer, but it'll be more like easier difficulty. Yay, Sonic!
So who's better, Mario or Sonic?
Mario.
Told ya. While Brendo composes himself. We'll be right back with more of the Gaming Lovers podcast.
Share the love. Follow us on Twitter at Brendo Jem. That's BRENDOJEM.
Isn't Mario and Sonic like best friends?
Actually, they've been rivals for a very long time. They're from competing companies, Sega versus Nintendo.
True. I just used to think that they were friends because of
They had the
big
Olympics
games.
together.
Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games.
They do some crossover games now, but early days it's always been very head to head. But even now, there's still, I mean, they might agree to collaborate, but they're not necessarily friends. They're like frenemies.
It's like, I will do this with you because we will get money for it, but I don't like you.
They will
Yeah, pretty
cooperate
much.
to defeat their bad guys.
Who's Sonic's bad guy? Oh,
Dr. Eggman. Yeah. Or Dr. Robotnik, which is the original name.
Oh, that's so boring.
Hence why it turned into Eggman.
Why
Robotnik.
Dr. Eggman though?
Well, he kind of does look like an egg.
He does.
He's shaped like an egg.
I've always wondered if he's wearing goggles or glasses. He looks like he's wearing goggles.
We're going to be playing some original PlayStation, and I just want you to tell me what the first thing you notice is when we decide to rig up this old CRT TV.
The sound.
It's like really high pitched.
It's like,
You can't even hear it. It's just like present in your head.
yeah.
The funny thing is, the older you are, the less you hear that. The younger you are, the
Can you
more
guys hear
bothers
it?
you. Yeah, I can hear it.
That means you're young.
It's like really.
Can you
You
hear
hear a
it?
certain threshold, and then suddenly you don't hear those high.
Now, before flat screen TVs, every TV made that sound.
That's so annoying. It's like I can like it's in my head.
Yeah.
We had one of these TVs, you know.
Did we?
Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, I love the Crash Bandicoot.
So we actually have 3D graphics.
He looks like triangles, just smushed together.
Yeah, it's very much geometric
Look how he
shapes.
scratched his hair.
You look really unimpressed by this TV's squeaky sound.
No, my ears are so super sensitive. I don't know how you guys lived with this.
Well, like you said before, we've probably gone blind from the pixels, and we've probably gone deaf
It doesn't
from
hurt
the...
my eyes anymore because it's on the smaller screen and it's not as clear.
What do you think of the graphics, Juge?
I think that it's
pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's really good. Like, it's actually 3D now.
Yeah, I actually
The
quite
colours,
like these
graphics.
Alright, so that Super Mario you played with Yoshi came out in 1990. What year do you put this one at?
I'm gonna have to say,
95.
well, I'd say like late 90s, maybe early 2000s.
Early 2000s? Okay. Jedi, what do you think?
Yeah, same as FattyBin.
And Jem, what year do you think Mr. Bandicoot entered our lives? Oh, well, based off the console generation, yeah.
94, 95, somewhere around there.
The first Crash Bandicoot came out in 95.
I like these graphics because these are the ones that I grew up with.
I actually can't
Like
hear it anymore.
these are the games that we were playing.
Oh wait, no, yes I can.
What do you think of the full experience of the squeal?
Oh, I'm fine with it.
Walk around on it.
I don't have hairy ears as much as Georgia.
I do have hairy ears and I'm proud of it.
Do I have hairy ears?
Well, if you can hear these, no, if you can hear these sounds, you have more hairs.
See, in the short few years of where everything had to be made of a flat sprite, now we have polygon models, 3Ds, moving cameras.
And the angle from which you're seeing, like, if he's down in that pit, the rain is going down, like, from the right angle. If it was 3D.
Our family gets so excited about games. We'll literally be like right at the TV screaming at it. There'll be like spit on the TV. We have to wipe it off.
Has anyone ever thrown any controllers in their anger?
No, I threw tissues at the TV once because I didn't want to break it, and I was so mad. So I was like, ugh.
I bet that went really far.
Oh yeah.
Were they dirty tissues?
Well, Dad was playing the Wii once with Lily, and he was playing, I think it was like Wii Tennis, and he threw the controller into the ceiling fan and broke it.
So now we don't have a fan in there. Just smashed everywhere.
You could get an iPad the size of this TV now.
I know. You could get iPads bigger than that TV.
This is what I grew up. This was the TV that was allocated to us to play our Nintendo 64 on. So when all four of us had to share, it went into a split screen.
How?
You just learn to live with what you have. Like, we didn't know any better. That was what we had.
I remember doing those switches. The little red, white, and yellow ones. AV cords, is it?
Oh, hear that.
Whenever we had to set up the Wii, we'd be like, oh yeah, we're like electricians because we have to change them.
This is the
sound of my childhood right here.
Yeah, number 3.
Chords? What is this?
Before we get too far, what do you think of these controllers as we've gone through the evolution?
They're so weird. They're just plastic and horrible.
They've got 3. What?
3 handholds?
Yeah, that's weird.
Why'd they have 3?
How do you steer?
I can't even see it. I don't even know. It's about 2 square centimeters. That's about how much.
You need
room.
binoculars just to see it.
So the TV that was already tiny is now split into 4 sections.
Oh my gosh, just suck it up. How's it feel, guys?
I'm coming last, guys.
You're getting beaten by a fungus.
Jem, is this bringing back memories for you?
Yep. I've been trying to find ways to, like, find the areas where you can, break the level and cheat. But I couldn't remember which section to do that in on this, so I had to do it normally.
How are you holding that control?
It's unnatural to hold the middle one. Like, it just feels weird. So I'm holding the outer one. It's just weird. What's the point of having 3 if you're only going to hold 2 of them?
Yeah, what? Like, there's so
Why?
much effort just to
Why do
go
you
like
think?
this.
Because they're silly. And everyone in the olden days was like, hey, let's just be annoying.
The older days.
This game has messed everything up for me. Ruined everything. Now I'm going backwards.
Just a few controller issues?
What? Why?
Keeps hitting retry.
Oh, I hate the balloon popping one.
Can we do coins at least?
There's no coin.
There is no coins mode on this. This is the original.
Oh, I love it.
This was where battle was created.
Oh, I
Oh my goodness, I fell off the edge.
Oh.
Well, you're out, Geoege.
Oh, that's sad.
Oh, can you get out?
You're now a bomb.
Oh, that's awesome. So can I just go?
Jem's going to win just because she'll be the last person standing.
I don't even know. This is.
Jem wins.
No,
No.
because she's been playing this like 10 years.
She has an advantage.
Make that 20 years.
You guys done with all this retro gaming?
Yep, so done.
Well, the complaints and the graphics and the sound and the squealy TVs all tied together into a nice little headache-induced afternoon, but
Oh,
it was
yes.
still very entertaining to see their opinions on retro games.
Absolutely. I feel a little bad that pretty much all of them left with a headache at the end of that because of that CRT TV. Like the high-pitched squeal. Like even I think I got a headache from that. Like it's amazing how easy it is to forget like that was what we had to live with for
That
the
was
longest
the
time.
standard.
And you could even hear it through walls. Like if someone had a TV in another room in your house, you would hear it and you would have to play something else loud just to kind of drown it out so that way you wouldn't, go insane from the...
I think the kids may have a point that the reason why old people need glasses because the blocky graphics on their video games damaged their eyes beyond repair.
Possibly. Yeah. Well, you remember the warnings that they would tell us as kids, don't get too close to the TV, it's bad for your eyes.
You'll get square eyes.
Square eyes.
Because it's just a giant pixel block.
Yes. Whereas now, like, because the resolution on TVs is so good, it's not as dangerous to be close to them. It doesn't hurt your eyes like it did.
Well, having said that, one of my biggest complaints about HD gaming is the fact the text size is far too small. I have to get off the couch to read the data note that I found on a note in a game.
Yeah, that's why you need giant TVs. It's just any text that comes up is easy to read from your couch.
Regardless of what they thought, with the Atari Classics collection on the current consoles, the NES and Mini SNES Classic editions, I'm enjoying playing all these old school games
Yeah.
and stuff them. I've taken personal offence to this.
Well, they were pretty brutal about Sonic.
Oh.
I was a little too. I'm sorry. Sonic isn't my cup of tea, but I love that you love Sonic. Okay, honey. I'm so sorry. Would you like me to get you some tissues, some chocolate, a Sonic plushie to hug?
Yes.
I think it would be worth getting those girls back and getting them to try more modern games, but like hard modern games.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we'll see if they're up for it. We might have scared them away.
Chuck them in the deep end with Super Meat Boy and...
Yes. They get so angry.
All right, well, let's dig ourselves out of the 70s, 80s and 90s and put ourselves back in the modern day. What are your new gaming goals? Because you have finished the eternally challenging Trails of Cold Steel 2.
I have. And I'm not sure if I want to do something on my handheld or if I want to do something on the console. I am in that weird spot of still mulling over an old game and not quite knowing what to do with myself. It's like when you've been binge watching a TV show and you sit there and you're like, my life, I've lost its meaning. Almost just this feeling of what do I do now? And so help me.
Suddenly I don't feel so pathetic for being a Sonic fan.
But it's true. I see memes. I'm not the only one who has this feeling when you've finished, especially a big game like this
anything
one.
that you sink that much time into that has a
Yeah.
definitive end, like a game or binge watching 7 seasons of Gilmore Girls or whatever you like to do in your spare time.
Yep.
Hey, it depends. What was your hour count on your save file? Do you have any idea? It would have been 80 plus for sure.
I think it was closer to 100 actually.
Exactly.
Because I did a lot of grinding to get my levels up for those big boss fights, so it was substantial.
Now, the problem you face is you like to play a lot of RPGs. So normally, if it was me who had just sunk 80 to 100 hours into a game, I like to take a break, palate cleanse, something short. What happened to your intention of playing Quantum Break?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. I just, every time I think about, I've got some time, maybe I could play this, and then immediately I'm like, I'm really not in the mood for that. Like, it's so hard. Maybe, I don't know, like, I can't put it into words, which is really frustrating me. I don't know how to verbalize, but it's just one of those things. It's like when I'm trying to think of what to have for lunch, okay? And I'm like trying to think of all these things, and I think
Here
of
we
all
go.
the food options available to me, and I'm not necessarily craving anything, but then when you suggest something, I'm like going, yeah, no, that's not quite what I want.
Whereas if I just make a sandwich, cut it up in front of you and go, here, eat this, and you eat the first bite, and you're like, oh yeah, I want a sandwich. This is nice. Maybe that's what you need.
Got to taste it. Maybe I need to smell blood in the water like a shark
Well, you and
before
I-
I'm hungry.
You and I are definitely husband and wife because I get the same situation sometimes where I have a backlog a mile high and I sit there looking at it going, I don't want to play any of these.
There are some things I want to replay, especially in the lead up to our trip to Japan. It might be a good time for me to replay Persona 5 because so much of the game, they are based in Tokyo and especially around Shibuya. And since we're going to be staying near there, when we're there, it'd be a good, because it's almost like virtual tourism. I can like try to learn how the layout is of like where the train station and all the bits, because it's actually pretty accurate. So part of me wants to do that and scout locations for when we're there, things we want to take photos of.
Well, I am mellowing in my clearly apparent old age based off this episode. And I used to be all about, no, there's so many untold stories that you haven't discovered yet. There's so many games that you have to experience. Here's a new game. Eat it, do it, play it. Whereas now I'm just like, we're the gaming lovers. We love games, whether it's our favourite games or games that we've yet to try.
Yes.
If you want to replay Persona 5, I'm completely fine with that.
I think what you need to do this week, and all it requires is a couple of hours, is play
Uh-oh.
The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit.
Yeah, I haven't got around to that yet, as much as I've been
No.
bragging about how awesome it apparently is.
So that I think needs to be on your gaming goals for this week.
At least that's only a 2-hour little pill to take. So
Yes.
it's not like an entire endurance
Yeah.
run. Yeah, that sounds good. And I just praise the sort of game that I've been really enjoying, and I might chase all the achievements, but there's also DLC for it that came out recently, which means it'll be eating more of my attention. But I do want to get through Yakuza 4, so I don't know what to do.
I was going to say, how is your Yakuza goals going? Because your time is running out and you've still got a couple of games left.
Hey, look, I had it all figured out, okay? I had
Right.
4 months left until Japan. I had 4 games to go. Well, I calculated it today, actually, and I've got 3 months until we go and over 3 games to play.
Whoops.
So I really better hit the accelerator on that one. So,
Yes.
yeah, primarily, Yakuza 4 is going to be back on the front page. I'll throw in a Captain Spirit whenever I get the desire to. And Prey is going to be my secondary.
Cool. Well, you know what? I think I'm actually going to see if I can find a visual novel for my Vita as something else to do. I want something really story heavy and not so much the RPG battles that I've had a lot
Grindy.
of. Yes.
You want to grind through pages and pages of text and
Yeah.
not pages and pages of combat.
Pretty much. That's what I'm in the mood for. So I think I know I've downloaded a few, but I haven't played them yet. So they're waiting.
I forgot
So
about those.
I'm gonna have to see what I'm in the mood for.
Jem, you got a
And-
backlog.
Yeah, of course I do. It's more like a mountain log. So lots to do and lots to read.
Excellent. Well, we
Yay.
have gaming goals.
We do.
Let's go and conquer our gaming kingdoms.
If you want to see Brendo live stream any of his games, make sure you check out all the links on our website at thegaminglovers.com. You can also leave us an audio message there if you'd like to ask us a question or a comment about the podcast. It might even get featured on the next episode.
Can I do it?
Might be a bit
I'm
obvious.
already featured on this podcast.
Quite heavily.
Hey, follow me on Twitter at HyperBrendo. I might even, spoilers, I might even live stream my start to finish run of Captain Spirit. If you're not going to play it, why not follow me and watch me
Absolutely.
play it?
And make sure you are prepared to cry because it is beautiful. So beautiful.
Then why are you crying? Wouldn't you just admire it? I'm a male and I have no
There are
emotions.
guys that cry with nice things.
I don't know. I have an itchy back.
That is so random.
It's going to make me cry.
All right, itchy back. I've been Jem.
And I've been Hyper Brendo.
And we are the Gaming Lovers. We'll catch you next week.
Bye, bye, bye.
Sayonara.
Thanks for listening to the Gaming Lovers podcast. For more episodes or to watch some live stream gaming, visit thegaminglovers.com.